Sundance 2020 is this week, and I'm going the second half of Sundance, but I'm so excited to be going here. And again, I'm going as press because of you guys, so thank you guys so much for all the support. But what I'm going to be doing in this video is pretty much going over the 10 films that I'm so looking forward to at Sundance, and also the films that if you're heading to Sundance, these are the ones that you definitely should keep your eye out for. It was definitely hard narrowing it down to just 10 since there are such brilliant films all going about, but these are my most anticipated films for Sundance 2020. So make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you guys are most looking forward to, and also understand this. I don't know much about this film besides who's involved, maybe the synopsis, and I saw some images, but that's what's really gotten me interested, and that's what I love about going to film festivals. So definitely message me for some support, because I think going to film festivals with a bunch of other film fanatics is some of the best things that you guys can possibly do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, comment down below, and if you guys are new here and you like content like this, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for all sorts of early movie reviews like this. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming down at my number 10 is going to be Run, Sweetheart, Run. This is about a woman who tries to get home alive after her blind date turns violent. That is actually the only thing I know about this film. I don't really know many of the cast in here. I don't really know much about this, but I saw it's a horror film. I saw it's part of their midnight lineup, and I saw that synopsis and said, yeah, that has my attention right there, because blind dates can always go bad. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been on one, they're not the best. And Run, Sweetheart, Run kind of twists on its nerves. And I like when films like this are able to take a scenario like that and say, hey, we're going to twist this around and make it hell for you. And I'm really looking forward to what Run, Sweetheart, Run could provide in there. I'm looking for a very good thriller in this one, maybe some good scare tactics, but overall an adrenaline-filled thing that is going to get me interested. And also, but the one thing I'm really looking forward to in this is that it's not just kind of like a cheap slasher thriller in here. I'm looking for more than just a thrilling aspect. It can have homages to that, but I hope there's a more sinister thing laying in this whole thing, kind of like a Say Don't Breathe. Coming in on my number 9 is going to be Spree, which stars Joe Keery, who you might know from Stranger Things, but it's about a thirsty for following Kirk Kunkley is a rideshare driver who has figured out a deadly plan to go viral. From what I'm understanding is that this film is actually filmed in a very unique way, and just looking for the only image that has been released about this, it is vibrant, and I kind of get a feel that a lot of this movie is going to be all about that. It's a comedy thriller. Again, stars Joe. I'm a major fan of him from Stranger Things. Also has David Arquette in here. There's some good thrilling aspects into here. And again, you might kind of see that a lot of my list kind of has a lot of films like this, because at film festivals, I feel like this is when artists can go a little bit more unique. And especially with these independent features, they're not just going unique, but they're also going very dynamic, and they're very different than anything else you might see. So I'm looking forward to that within Spree. And coming in on number 8 is going to be Impeg Decor. Now, I don't know anything about this film, but besides that, I've heard it's a little bit like Hereditary, and it might be the Hereditary of this year. It's about how do you escape a family legacy when it's ingrained inside you. Literally, this is what Maya wants to find out of her. A close encounter with death leaves her with questions about her parents she never knew. Again, don't know much about this, falls into that midnight category, and hearing that this horror kind of thriller and how it really is kind of going in that same vein of what is about in your family lineage, I'm all fascinated about this. Again, I'm really hyped for this one. I don't want to know much about it. I think there is a trailer out there. I saw some images. That's all I need to know. This is the one that I'm actually worried about seeing. That's why I'm actually seeing it the last night that I'm there, because I'm worried that if I go see this movie, I'm going to be deathly scared, and that I'm not going to be able to sleep, and then I'm going to not get rest, and then I'm going to wake up and have to go to another screening the next morning. But thank God this is my last day, and this is going to be one of my last films to see that year. So this is going to be a fun one, let's say that. And coming in on my number 7 is going to be Possessor. Now, again, one of those films, you're going to, again, see the same thing. It's kind of in that midnight flair. It is a horror, thriller, sci-fi also elements all in there, and stars Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's about a possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies. That's just like right up my alleyway, and that's why I'm so excited for this movie, to see where they can take these dynamics and where they could possibly go with it. Again, just from the image I'm going to show in this video, that's the image that said, hey, that kind of keeps my attention. Read a little bit of synopsis and said, I'm all in for that. Plus, you get Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is a good actress, and I'm just in general looking forward to this one. Coming up at number 6 is an A24 film called Minari, which stars Steven Yeun, who I'm literally, like, whatever the guy's in, I'm gonna make sure to go see it. And it's about a Korean family who moves to Arkansas to start a farm in the 1980s. Now, many people could be like, that kind of seems boring. When A24 is behind something, I find myself having to go see it. And it makes it into this list just alone because it's A24. And especially when you have Steven Yeun, who from The Walking Dead, I'm a major fan of him, and I've been wanting to see his career afterwards. He's been making some great choices so far. I'm looking forward to this one. Again, don't know much more about it from the synopsis, but the cast, the production, the studio, everyone involved has me on board for this one. Of course, before I hit my top 5, make sure again, guys, to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new here, because I do tons of content like this on a daily basis. I love talking movies, and I want to discuss it with you guys, so make sure to comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this list. What are some of the films you guys are looking forward to from Sundance? If you're going, if you're not, what are some of the films that you've heard about that you guys definitely want to check out? And of course, guys, if you guys are new here and you guys want to see some films early, make sure to head over to Sam Sean Films on how to see films early. And of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. And coming in at my number 5 is honestly another one of those. It's by A24. It's by the director Jenzanka Bravo. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name, but it's about a stripper named Zola who embarks on a wild road trip to Florida. This drama has my attention, and a lot of it is because a lot of the hype that people are talking about. You have a great cast, you have a great crew, and you have a great studio. And again, A24's name is on something. I want to see it because of its values and what A24 has been able to do the last couple of years, especially last year. Last year, part of their films made it into my top 10 favorite films of last year. So again, I'm always going to be looking forward to what this studio can bring to the movie genre. And coming in on my number 4 is another horror thriller. Yes, you've probably seen it already on this list. It is The Night House, which is a horror thriller starring Rebecca Hall, Sarah Goldberg from Barry. Literally the main reason I want to see this is because of Sarah Goldberg. I am such a big fan of hers from Barry. But it's about a widow who begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets. Sold! I'm sold on that synopsis. And again, Sarah Goldberg is like my big main reason, then Rebecca Hall as well. This is just a great cast. It's a great concept. And these horror movies that always dive into like the past on family and what has been going on, that's what hooks me. And I cannot wait to see what they do in The Night House. I'm really worried that I'm not going to be able to sleep like a majority of the time at Sundance because, yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of these horror films and they could screw me up. Or they could be terrible. Fingers crossed they're great. Coming in on my number 3 is actually a movie I just found out about, easily added to my list, got my ticket for it at Sundance, and that is Promising Young Woman, which stars the likes of Carey Mulligan, which, if you haven't seen Carey Mulligan's last few years of work, you should. She was truly scammed of not getting an Oscar nomination for Wildlife just a couple years back, but it also stars the likes of Bo Burnham, big fan of him, Clancy Brown, Jennifer Coolidge, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. And it's about a young woman who's traumatized by a tragic event in her past, seeks out vengeance against men who cross her path. Now, I actually just saw the trailer for this just a couple weeks back, and it really hooked me. I said, man, that is intriguing, and I cannot wait to see this whole concept of how this could play out. It is kind of in the vein a crime drama thriller, kind of seems like a little bit of Hustlers, kind of seems like a little bit of, say, other horror films that we've seen before, and maybe like a little bit of a Neon Demon-ish in there. The fact that it's premiering at Sundance gets me a little bit hyped. Carey Mulligan, again, has my money, and I can't wait to see the performance she turns out in Promising Young Woman. Coming in at my number 2 is Palm Springs, which is produced by the Lonely Island crew. That's what sold me, that it was produced by the Lonely Island. Because if you haven't seen Popstar, that's like one of the most underrated comedies of all time. Likes of J.K. Simmons, Tyler Holich, Christy Miliot, Andy Samberg, and it's of course about when a carefree Niles and reluctant maid of honor, Sarah, have a chance encounter at a Palm Springs wedding. Things get complicated as they are unable to accept their venue themselves, or even maybe each other. Again, Andy Samberg, Lonely Island crew, all in this project. It sells me on that part because Popstar is one of the best films of this last decade, and it was one of my favorite comedies of the last decade. It made me laugh. I died laughing multiple times, and they've been able to bring these unique comedies, and I definitely think this is already going to go into that very underrated flair. Whether it's Hot Rod that kind of find that cult following, but was very underrated when it came out. Same thing with Popstar, and now Palm Springs. I think the same thing is going to happen again. And coming in at my number 1 is Wendy, which is from the director who brought us Beasts of the Southern Wild, and it's about a lost on a mysterious island where aging and time have come unglued. Wendy must fight to save her family, her freedom, and the joyous spirits of youth from a deadly peril of growing up. This is a different kind of story and take on the Peter Pan story, and usually you can say, I've seen that before, but this director is something to look out for, and that's kind of the reason that it sold me. I heard a different kind of story on Peter Pan, I saw who was directing it, and then I looked at this trailer of this movie and I said, God, that just looks gorgeous, heartwarming, and charming, but also intense and maybe sickening at times. I'm so looking forward to what this director can bring to his interpretation of the Peter Pan story, and that's easily the reason that it sold me as my #1 favorite film and most anticipated film for the Sundance 2020. Guys, that's going to be my list for 2020 Sundance, what films I'm most looking forward to. There are a ton of other films that I had on this list, actually, that I could even go through right now, and I actually think I'm going to. So we're going to cut to my honorable mentions real fast. Which, looking at my list, I also have Save Yourself, which is actually like would have been my #11. That one just looks great. I don't even want to get much into it, but just look up the synopsis for that one. The Last Thing He Wanted, The Nest, The Father, Horse Girl, 9 Days, Amulet, The Assistant, Surge, Sylvia's Love, Scare Me, Black Bear, and Summertime, and even Downhill, which stars the likes of Will Ferrell. I'm sold on all these. Hopefully I can check them all out, guys. So make sure, guys, to hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys are new here, also please comment down below if you've ever been to Sundance and you've had any experience. Make sure to leave me down some comments, maybe some tips as well on how to get into a lot more screenings, especially when it comes down to the wait list. I'm so looking forward to this, guys. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I really wouldn't be able to do this without you, and I hope I can bring you some amazing coverage from Sundance. So, guys, of course, until next time, stay classy.